Good morning, boys and girls. I am legit hiding in my bedroom right now so that I can be free of my children and Gus because I've tried to make a video for you several times and things just keep getting crazy. Um, anyway, so one of the things that I'm missing the most about being your teacher is just talking to you and hearing your stories and doing book talks with you and hearing about what you're reading and what you're learning from that and what you're thinking about that. So I thought today I would just talk to you a little bit about one of the books that I read recently and the lessons that I was learning from that book. So um, the book was called When Crickets Cry, and it was about this surgeon. He was a cardiologist, and he made some really bad choices and ended up making a really big mistake, and he lost someone that he loved very much. And he struggled to forgive himself for that, and so time goes on, and eventually he meets this little girl, and she has a heart condition, and he's like the only doctor in the country that can fix her heart condition. But because he never admitted his mistakes and he never forgave himself for that mistake, he couldn't help her just yet. And so the book is about how he learns to forgive himself, and it got me thinking about how, we all make mistakes. I know I've made some mistakes. Some of them were not so big and others were bigger. And I think that you can probably relate to that too. But what I learned from this character the most is that, number one, you have to admit to your mistakes, and you have to think carefully about them, and you have to see what can you learn from that mistake and how can you do things differently or better the next time based on what you've learned from that mistake. And I think that you guys can probably relate to that too. But the other thing about it was the idea of fear, and it got me thinking about that book we read together, Black Dog, and about how that little girl's family was so scared of that dog, and then the little girl at the end was so brave, and she was the one who ended up facing the fear, and they realized that it wasn't really that scary after all. And I was thinking about that book and comparing it to my book, because had he faced his fear in the first place, had he been strong enough or brave enough to face his fear in the first place, then none of those sad events would have happened otherwise. So anyway, that was the lesson I was learning from my book about mistakes and forgiveness and facing fears. And I just kind of wondering, like, what have you guys been reading? What are the lessons that you're learning from your books? I would love to hear from you. Last week I asked that you guys take pictures and send in your learning logs, and a couple of kids did that, and I wanted to thank you because it made me so happy to see your faces. Anyway, guys, let me know what you're reading. Let me know what you're learning, what you're thinking about your books. Are you making connections to other books that we've read or that you've read previously? Please remember that this video was made for you, my 5th grade students. Please do not share it or post it on any social media outlets, and I'll talk to you guys next week.